plays champions that kind of, reward that sort of play style, but hasn't been able to make it consistent enough to really, bring home the wins. Like I said, patch 13.12, so wouldn't be surprised to see the Nico LeBlanc bans come through. Although, maybe teams are going to be more comfortable with the Tristana into LeBlanc. I'd like to see it more.
Yeah, it can be risky though, I guess, if LeBlanc, I think we saw, I don't remember who it was, but we did see it sort of do quite well last week. I believe it was actually Minji into Maple. Won that lane at least. Obviously ended up losing, but did quite well as the LeBlanc into the Trist, but we'll just take it away. Get rid of it, not worth the risk here, and see what the follow-up bans are. We do see Ivan. We've seen quite a lot of Ivan bans already this split. Haven't seen it picked yet. It would be quite interesting to see.
I think it's quite strong in the patch. I'm a little surprised it hasn't been picked at all, but I think it's just one of those champs that not a whole lot of junglers play outside of when it's very broken. So if it suddenly comes into meta just for a patch, there's not a whole lot of people that are ready to play it. And Aurelia is the ban taken away from Rel here. Jackson, Renekton both banned, so I think those are two Aurelia counters. Obviously, getting those out of the way, kind of invites the Aurelia ban.
Okay, Tristana hovered early. It's going to be locked in, so almost certainly the mid laner already picked here for Nuli on West Point.
We'll have to see what Minji plays in that, because I think that, I really feel like Maokai should be higher value than Tristana, and it's also quite difficult to play Tristana into Maokai. So I'm a little surprised by the priority. Obviously, it's a good champ, but I don't think it's better than Maokai. We'll see, though, as J-Team. They want to lock the Maokai early. Maybe you just take something like the Jace. Yeah, it works really well. So I'm liking what J-Team has shown so far.
Yeah, see what the answer is here. Sejuani almost certainly will be locked in. Doesn't have very good synergy with the Tristana, but if you are able to just land that ult, it is very possible for Tristana to provide the damage needed to knock out pretty much anyone. They're not the worst. You will be looking for a melee top laner here, though, to pair with it.
And I wonder if you pick that melee top laner now or later. It feels like you might want to go down to 4-5, but then you possibly worry about having too many of those champs banned out. Kai'Sa could be a pickup. It's been a very priority AD all patch long. Also adds a little bit of AP damage, which is kind of nice if you are playing with the Trist.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It is going to be locked in. So Bruce did play a bit of a Aphelios. He's actually played pretty much a bit of everything, but Milio here, the hover, I'd be quite excited to see that.
I think it's really good when you're playing against Sedge.
Yeah.
It's a champ that allows to both disengage, you can cleanse the ult. Super nice.
Now, going into the Phase 2 bans, Blitzcrank going to be banned. I think you take away Lucian. No point in just letting them have that combo. Obviously, there are other things you can take with the Milio, but Lucian tends to be the strongest, so it will be banned. Now, we're going to ban another support champ. Could take out the Nautilus. It is something that is probably the best champion when paired with Kai'Sa.
I think taking away Nautilus Rel seems like the play. I mean, there's obviously things like the Rakam, but I think it's a little easier to deal with, especially if you have a really hard-winning lane with the likes of Milio plus something. They take away the Rel. I kind of like that. And now, I'm always curious to see where teams go with this next ban. Because obviously Milio Jinx is something that's been played a fair amount. They banned the Aphelios instead. And J-Team, I think, should probably prioritize an AD here.
Oh.
Ooh. I mean, that would give them a very strong lane.
Yeah, exceedingly. Really easy to, if you can apply one auto attack, pretty easy as Ashe to continue applying them.
I think Ashe and Milio seems almost untouchable in the lane. I'm honestly interested to see what West Point do. They have to now somehow counterpick with support as well as blind pick their top laner. They're really giving Driver everything he needs to turn this into a great game for him. And let's see, I mean, blinding top 4-5 with no top bans, in your second phase is difficult. Rel not known for blinding either. They take the Nautilus. I think the best blind here is probably Cassante, just because you have the Sedge or maybe the Gragas, but neither of them feel super good into Driver. He's got the picks to deal with them. Yeah,
absolutely. Gragas doesn't feel that great with the team comp either. Obviously, you do have the AD damage, can come through from both Kai'Sa and Trist, but now Relia's Akali. I don't know if you remember this from last split, but I believe it was Sim 9 against PSG, where he went absolutely insane on the Akali and actually almost was able to just 1v9 the game as this top Akali. So he's definitely good on this champion. It can be exciting to watch. We'll see what Driver answers with, though.
Now, I'm not a fan of the blind pick Akali. Yeah, Gangplank I would love to see. Gangplank does very well into Akali. Can also build the Hex Drinker early. Yeah,
Ooh.
I love it.
All right, this is exciting. We got Driver on the Gangplank again.
Yeah, I think this game should hopefully show why Akali top should not be blind picked. I think that it does fairly well into the comp. It is difficult against the Maokai, but now with a tough lane, and it feels like kind of both sides of West Point's map needs to be played around. I'm not sure if Rally is going to get the kind of assistance that he needs in this game. So honestly, I'm thinking it's a massive draft win for J-Team.
Yeah, I think, honestly for me, I think the biggest part of the draft disparity is probably the power and just laning. I think the lanes here, especially bot lane, should be extremely in favor of J-Team, which should lead for some early dragon stacking. And then once you get early dragon stacking, if you're able to stay ahead as Maokai, it's really, really hard to ever contest that objective.
Yeah, I think 665 here needs to spend a lot of time kind of putting out fires across the rift, and it's tough because you kind of just feel like Maokai can almost chase Sejuani around the map, just kind of ensure his lanes can pressure. Because I think the 1v1 lanes should go very well for the start of J-Team. And I mean, I'm excited, I guess, to see the Gangplank. We kind of saw Solo Kill move away from it after the nurse, but it is a good matchup into Akali, so I see why Drivers picked it up here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to see it again. I mean, PCS last split before the Gangplank nerfs, it was picked quite often, and mainly by sort of the top tier players in that top lane, and Driver being one of them. And so seeing him back on it, it's so exciting. It didn't really lose much damage. It lost a little bit of damage, but ultimately not enough to make that the reason it sort of came out of play. It was more it was easier to play around his barrels now that you can see the graphic underneath the health bar. But ultimately, I believe Driver should have a very favorable matchup against the Akali, and getting some items online, he will be able to put out the damage that you'd expect.
I think so, and I'm interested to see what he itemizes for first. Because stuff like the Merc's obviously good against the Sedge, Hex Drinker good against the Akali, and it is a very heavy magic damage comp. I wonder if Kai'Sa will just go the regular AD build, because what have they got? They got Akali Sedge, there's even Nautilus,
yeah,
and Tristana. I think Tristana sometimes goes the Shiv build, sometimes goes the Kraken Navori build. So we'll have to see, but I think there are ways that they can fix the damage profile, but I think West Point should be careful not to itemize too much magic damage, because it's just so easy to buy MR at the moment in League, and
especially on Maokai.
Yeah, exactly. It can become very tough to deal with, especially on stage where you get gold a little bit slower than you might in scrims or solo queue, which can make reaching things like, Void Staff or other pen items just a little bit slower.
Yeah, absolutely. And here we are going to load into our first game here in week number 2. And I think, very importantly, take a look at these runes. It is going to be the phase rush on Jace. So we have seen this before into the Tristana. It allows for quick trades where you can come out with the health advantage despite the range disparity, at least earlier on when you don't have the Q up as much.
Yeah, and both mids do go for the D-Blade, which is a little interesting. I'm surprised. I feel like maybe just they feel like Longsword Refillable is a bit too greedy in this sort of matchup. And Prage's had to go for the cleanse. It's really nice, I think, for Bruce to not have to take cleanse up against Sejuani just because he has that Milio. Just, I think, having Ghost is so good for ADCs, and it feels really bad when you're forced to take cleanse, like Prage's here.
Yeah, now I'm kind of hoping, obviously there will be a bit of magic damage thanks to the Milio, but I'm kind of hoping Lauva does go for that Demonic Embrace build. I'm not sure with Green Smite that they always do. Actually, I just can't remember, but I know watching last week I saw most of the Demonic Embrace builds have Red Smite, so can be worried about J-Team's damage profile there if not getting Demonic.
Potentially in J-Team's bot lane, they know that they win that level 1, going to be forcing them off, and top side, Driver, he's got that grasp, so we'll be playing very heavily for that laning phase, obviously. I'm really excited, I guess, to see how the mid matchup goes, because we've kind of seen the Tristana matchups for the most part go both ways. Like, I remember we had some versus Jace where Tristana would just build lifesteal early and then kind of win out until Jace completed, first item. In other games, though, we have not seen that happen, so we'll have to see. Looks like a ward was dropped on the Raptors there by Nuli. Get a little bit of vision for his team. And top trades are already going the way of driving, you can see on the map. Has himself a pretty big health lead. Oh, bot lane's building a big wave. Doesn't look like they're going to have a big enough health lead to dive, but it might force 665 just to cover, just in case they're not sure exactly where Lalva is at this point. They should know he's bot side, but do they know what camp? I mean, they're healthy enough. I don't think they can be dived.
Pretty hard to dive in Nautilus. It looks, all things considered, there's only been about 3 minion waves and already a CS lead for Bruce on this Ashe. Great start to the game, and it's exactly what you want when you've got such a lane bully duo like the Milio Ashe.
It really is. I think as well, just like having this control around bot lane makes it so hard. Ooh, Hook does miss. 665's around, he's about to be spotted. There is a jungle counter gank here.
The flash is going to be used on Bruce here. He's getting quite low. Maokai, is he going to be in the area in time? Lava just showing up now. Will be turned around, and pretty good health trade onto Bruce there. Also costed him his ghost in return for Char's flash and ignite.
I feel like that's still overall better for J-Team. As long as they can avoid the hooks, there should really be no more pressure the West Point's bot lane can put on. Mid CS, it's going slightly to Nuli, and I want to say Nuli, even against tougher teams, has always done very well for himself in the laning phase. He's always been kind of this stable rock for the side of West Point. Ralhia's already been forced to base and had to buy a cloth armor first back, which feels really bad, but honestly is probably necessary. But maybe shows why, why the Sakali shouldn't be blinded. And spotted out on the ward here. 665, he's going to look for something, but Driver will just be able to walk away.
Feels pretty impossible to gank the gangplank until at least you have multiple forms of CC, because he can just immediately orange as soon as he's stunned up, and he should be fine. There's not really the damage to take him out just yet.
Well, Nuli jumps forward into the creep wave. They both have bone plating.
Yeah, Minji now turning it around, and very low health bars here. Should favor Nuli though, because again, what we often see is Jace has to trade a lot of his mana in these trades, whereas Tristana doesn't. So now, Minji extremely low on mana, both low on health.
Driver, I think he was thinking about freezing this wave. Looks like he still will, but the creeps are pretty low. A nice little ward here will help keep Minji safe if he decides to push out.
Yeah, Driver up 11 CS here.
Yeah, he's making great work of this matchup and hasn't even had the TP yet. And when he does, if he can manage to TP without letting Ralhia base, will be in an extreme item advantage.
Now, I wonder what he's waiting for. I guess he'll get the Sheen, see what else he can get off that. Possibly even just an early Null Magic.
Yeah, it's probably worth. We'll see. I think does need to make sure he bases before Ralhia hits 6. Definitely doesn't want to fall victim to that. As Driver himself just hits 6 and 665, looking for something around mid. Both mids have already TP'd, so if you can get a chunk, would feel very good. There will be Nuli just going straight towards the Shiv, so isn't going to buy himself a Vamp Scepter or anything. But Minji, he doesn't have enough gold for the Dirk. We've seen a lot of Jaces go for Dirk before tier just to make sure that they have that pressure. But it looks like both mids just want to get towards their spikes quicker.
Looks like Prage might be going for the Shiv as well. Perhaps. I mean, he could go Kraken, but components for that Noon Quiver are currently picked up from Ashe, and Kai'Sa. I definitely don't think you want to. That seems like a bit too much magic damage.
We'll see. I think it can still work, I think. There is, especially if Nuli can end up getting fed. And maybe looking for a 3v3 in the bot side. Still lots of pressure coming out from J-Team's bot lane. They have that double range. Lalva is in a great position.
Playing fantastically in this tower range as 665 comes in, but Lalva already waiting. Come down the cannon barrage. 665 getting so low. Will be going down. First blood to Driver in the top lane.
A Driver has to feel so good about that. Not often do you steal the first blood from the other side of the map.
It continues. Char getting low now. Lalva tanking up. He's going to use Twisted Advance. Drops the aggro. It's now on Enso. Are they going to commit to this again? I feel like with turret aggro resetting is an option, but maybe not worth the risk.
I am a little surprised that they didn't end up going for more there, but maybe just happy with what they've got already. Because what they've got is quite a lot indeed. Especially that first blood going over to Driver, I think, feels really good. And Driver, it looks like on his base, he bought the Sheen as well as the Ruby, as we'll get a replay. And I think, if you're 665 here, as soon as you notice that Ashe isn't freaking out, you have to know that someone's here. And I think you should probably just queue away. And I don't think it's unrealistic to expect jungler to be around here, given that, it's a double range bot lane. Like, the jungler has to be playing around it, so not enough respect given over. And J-Team, they punish, and then some, as they get that dive onto the West Point bot lane as well. Looks like Bruce just lost both his sums.
Yeah, he's trying to do damage, but not really doing any to that Nautilus. Kind of weird, 665 did have flash that whole time. Maybe he just thought he couldn't get out in any way.
Yeah, I think he might have been dead regardless, but either way. And Driver, he doesn't opt for any MR, but maybe just with, that Ruby will have enough, especially because he did make Akali go for some pretty weak items early. Obviously he has that D-Shield, which you're forced to take risk Gangplank, as well as the cloth armor that was invested into.
Yeah, okay. Play found now for Praise, so all things considered, he isn't too far behind. It's more or less just Driver who benefits the most off of that dive bottom. Was able to stay even in CS, actually was behind in CS, so managed to find and alleviate some of that lead that Bruce had found, so not too bad here for the 80 carry of West Point as we see more of this Jace vs Tristana trades mid.
Now, Herald picked up by Lava. He's got to clear these top camps, and I wouldn't be opposed to just dropping this Herald top for Driver. I think if you can accelerate Driver, get him really ahead, it can be very difficult for Akali to ever lead this side lane. And if she can't leave, she can't get involved in the skirmishes, Driver will just massively out-farm her. So we'll have to see where the Herald ends up going.
Yeah, almost 30 CS at the moment. That's insane.
Yeah, he's very far ahead. And it sucks because I think Relia kind of needs some jungle attention to really activate this pick, but that's the reality.
Oh, he is going to be using the ult. Is he going to be able to have the damage? At the moment, it looks like not. So the Ruby Crystal really giving him enough health there to survive.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. Well, Bruce could be in trouble.
Oh my. Okay, depth charge will be used here. Nuli is going to turn up. This should be Bruce going down. He does not have sums, but can Enzo make it out? No. He's going to get Glacial prisoned, not backed into the team. Going to be given to Praise here. That's a kill each for both Praise and Nuli.
Oh, I'd love to see how that started, because somehow Nuli got down here across all those wards with no TP, and J-Team's bot lane wasn't aware of it. Now, it will be some gold traded back in the mid lane for Minji. But that was really nice. I mean, West Point, they get themselves pretty heavily back in the game there. A first dragon, as well as 2 kills on the bot lane.
Yeah, not often we're seeing the first dragon at 10 minutes. Kind of surprising.
Could not be CFO playing, that's for sure. Now, yeah, I really hope we get a replay of that fight, because I'm really interested to see what on earth happened there. So it looks like Nui just passed. I see. So he was on the ward, but the Nautilus ult had already been committed. Enzo locked up there as well. Really nice from Char to get the auto off on him. I think if Enzo had kind of cut earlier, yeah, even had the flash, I'm pretty sure he could have got out. I don't think there's any way Bruce could have, but maybe that could have just been a 1 for 0 as opposed to 2. Herald is used mid, which is nice for Minji. Get some more gold on that Jace, and so often we see the games come down to kind of Jace reaching critical mass on 3 items and just really sticking it to him. Kai'Sa is going for the Shiv as well. And Bruce.
Ooh.
Ghost is almost back up, but not quite.
Bruce has been playing extremely aggressive, even at times where Enzo is elsewhere on the map, so has to be a little bit careful. Ashe, if caught out, is typically just going to die. Ghost available now, though. A bit of extra kiting available.
He will have it in that gold difference. It's getting bigger and bigger, and I think a lot of that just is in that isolated top lane. You can see Aurelia already low HP. And if you want to see a sad state of affairs, when this gold difference goes away, take a look at the top lane item difference. Triforce to some components. Pretty absurd. I mean, has himself the CS lead, is getting plates, even has the magic boots, so doesn't have to itemize for that. And Akali going for Riftmaker, I don't know if that's it. I feel like if you can't burst Gangplank down, well, you're never going to win the long trade. And versus everyone else on the team, I think the Protobelt would be better. So I'm not sure why he goes for this. Maybe you need it for the matchup, but it almost feels like if you need this because of the matchup, you have to bang Gangplank second phase, or just don't blind the Akali as Minji is forced to flash in the mid lane.
Yeah, 665 is trying his best to find things around the map. 2 static shivs now onto each AD carry of West Point. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. 25 CS advantage for this Gangplank, as well as Gangplank just prints his own money. So it'll be interesting to see sort of individual gold. I imagine Driver would be right up there. Possibly even a K over the next person in the game. I wouldn't be too surprised to see.
Especially because he got that first blood as well.
Yeah,
Looks like he got
exactly.
2 plates to himself top even. I'm a little surprised that he hasn't gone for any MR, even if he hasn't, you know, upgraded it into anything. I feel like just having the null magic might be kind of nice. As he's getting looked at here, but I think he's fine. Shouldn't feel like he's in any trouble whatsoever.
Yeah, no Glacial Prison available, so Oranges will just get him out.
Maybe 665.
Now he's just chasing down 665. He's not even using the barrels.
He does chase him away from his own lane. Kind of the state of top lane right now, that 30 CS lead. The ability to 1v2 feels very nice, and maybe it's kind of like what you said, just the laning in champ select here a little bit better for J-Team. And across the board, kind of have those strong laning champs other than in mid, which has remained pretty much perfectly even. Nice CS for both of them there, and Jace goes for the Dustblade. Seen a few different things, the Ghost Blade or the Dustblade. I think the Dustblade is a little better. I think it's very hard to deal with in those team fights. And Lalva, can he maybe look for something top? Depends how much damage Rel here takes, but you really don't want to be forced away from your tower here as a Kali.
Cannon Barrage is available, as well as Nature's Grasp, but just forcing Relia away for now. Certainly now with that barrel's down, it's really hard to get back to your tower.
Yeah, and this is a horrible, horrible place for Rel here to be in. You're down so far in a matchup that isn't getting any better for you.
Yeah,
and I think
tower.
Akali, you know, it's one of those champs that doesn't bring any utility whatsoever. Minji, no flash though.
Yeah, oh, the Glacial Prison's not going to land as he looks for Nuli. Depth charge, you can't miss that one. Nuli turning around the damage. It will be Minji going down. No! And he finds a snipe. Oh, he does go down to the ignite, but extremely well played by Minji to be able to turn that one into a 1-for-1.
Yeah, really credit there to the J-Team solo laners. Driver with the clutch gangplank on, as well as Minji manages to keep himself alive there and gets the 1-for-1.
Lalva's not scared. Maybe he should be. Nuli's jumped in and he's getting a lot of damage off onto this Maokai. Driver is around though. Tick Tower picked up for him. So I want to see the gold graph. J-Team at the moment, 3k up, and I feel like 3 of those Ks are on the gangplank.
Really nice from Minji there. Dodges out immediately, uses the phase rush to kite that out. And I think here, probably should have waited one more on Nuli, but the snipe takes out Char, and Minji managed to keep himself alive for so long. Unfortunately, it was the ignite that took him down at the end. Char, he's maybe not too happy with that one, just being the 1-for-1. But Driver, he's now got a collector, a full item up on his top lane opponent, as well as tier 2 boots versus tier 1s. Yeah.
And started components on his 3rd item. Yeah, this is insane.
We need to see that top lane gold graph. I mean, I think it can't be understated. This is an awful matchup for Akali, and it really needs jungle attention. But the other lanes need jungle attention as well. Their bot lane especially feels like if you just leave them to 2v2, it's going to be really hard for Kais and Nautilus to stay even. And that's just the punishment for, you know, no second phase bans towards top lane and blinding a champ that isn't normally blindable.
You know, West Point have picked up their 2nd dragon, but I feel with how strong Driver is, there's no real getting the 3rd one if J-Team are to try and contest. Herald picked up for J-Team as there is a little bit of trades going across the map. Nuli finding himself in bot lane outer is traded for the top lane inner, however. Now possibly mid lane inner as well, as Rift Herald is used.
I think this will go down, though there is a flank coming out from West Point. They want to fight this.
Yeah, 665 and Nuli coming in the flank. They are going to use Depth Charge on Bruce. He's also going to get stunned up here, but the cleanse from Enzo is good. They find one. It is going to be Char going down earlier as Relia tries to do what he can, which is nothing. Nuli now in the back as Minji continuously sniping off these member, looking for the triple. It's actually going to go over to Bruce as Lalva just running this Tristana down.
Nuli, he's going to try to get away, but feels like he's kind of delaying the inevitable. As the rest of J-Team, they're just cleaning house. I think off screen, Nuli is not long for this world. About to be farmed up. Or even last hits him.
There you go. Gangplank gets himself another 300 gold plus 7 or 8 or whatever his Q gave him.
Yeah, this game, it seems pretty over, to be honest. West Point, despite the fact they have those 2 dragons and the kills don't look too far behind, I mean, the gold lead really says it all. And this, I think, was their kind of chance to get back into it, but it's so hard. There's this Emilio cleanse, it keeps Bruce alive, and there's so much damage coming out, and you can kind of see Relia. He lacks the damage or the durability to do anything, and eventually, the side of West Point, they run out of steam, and J-Team, they just run them down.
Yeah, and what's crazy is how one-sided that fight was, despite the only thing Driver doing was ulting. He did use the barrels, they missed, and that was his entire contribution despite being so far ahead. Look at how much damage he did. A lot of that would have been on Tristana at the end there, chasing him down. But just the cannon barrage there, adding so much damage to the fight.
It is ridiculous how much impact that champ can have from so far away, and Minji is being looked at, but you have to feel like with Relia's build, even if he hit that, probably wouldn't have the damage to back it up.
What is Driver building?
Steraks, I think. Yeah.
Well, if you couldn't kill him before.
Yeah, it's definitely not happening now.
Yeah, losing a bit of damage though, so I guess there's a benefit to it for West Point, but you aren't really going to be able to kill this Gangplank, and with the amount of damage he's already putting out, he doesn't really need extra.
No, definitely doesn't. 2 more minutes on that Dragon, which if West Point could get, would maybe put themselves in a serviceable position.
Nature's Grasp is going to be used here. Rally going to tank it up, but he's going to take so much from Cannon Barrage. Ashol used as well. Rally, look how much damage he's taking. Glacial Prison goes wide. It looks like there will be no more fighting for now as they slowly do push up this bottom lane.
And so much taken, even without a Herald or without a Baron. You know,
Yeah.
Baron is spawning in just a minute, and I wouldn't be surprised to see J-Team look towards that very early, as they have almost 10,000 gold lead here. Oh, it's actually Hullbreaker on the Gangplank.
Okay.
He could go for a Flame Horizon this game.
Well, he's already getting close to it.
Yeah, it's so hard for Akali to keep up, like we said. It's just, I don't know, I can't say it enough. Feels like so bad to blind Akali top, especially with a jungler that doesn't have enough tempo to be everywhere at once. This Driver, he is just going to be having an absolute field day in the side lane, bringing up 3 members towards him now, but honestly, I'm not sure if that's enough. We'll see, though. Oh, they are spotted out there by the Scryer's Bloom.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Akali one of the static Shiv buyers these days?
She can buy, yeah. I feel like maybe you can't versus Gangplank, though, because it feels like with static, your early game before you complete static is really weak. And this matchup's very bad for Akali anyway, so I don't think you'd really be able to get away with it without being even further behind. To be fair, I don't think Riftmaker is really the play either.
Could you look for something like Fleet Footwork as well?
Yeah, I think definitely should have Fleet in this matchup. Not too sure why we got the Conqueror, but either way, Driver.
Yep, Driver's not happy. He's got the Hullbreaker. He is not going to be taken down. Oh,
what happens? We didn't see that.
That's rough. That looks like my Gangplank.
Ooh, ping's on a Baron already. Are they willing to give over the 3rd Dragon? It looks like they might be. In fact,
they might even just have damage to do it in time.
Yeah, they might. But West Point, they're going to try contest either way.
They can't contest this. Baron's already at half. Then comes the Void Seeker, but it should just be Baron going over. Teleport is going to be committed here as Nuli turns up late, but Nature's Grasp is going to be used here. A lot of damage onto Char. He is just eliminated as Relia now looking for whatever he can. Nuli as well in the back line. Do they have the damage? All 3 of the ADs have gone into the back line. They've gone down. It's Driver finding a pentakill.
What just happened?
I don't know, but Driver was the benefactor. There was a lot of diving into that Baron pit there, and Driver just claims everyone, truly collecting them.
He did, yeah. I mean, that's an amazing spot for Gangplank to be, right? Just 5 people grouped up in the pit. You can just drop the Cannon Barrage on them, you get the Baron on all members, and I mean, Driver, something I complained about in the PCS last split was the red side counter pick, maybe not going to as much value as it normally should, but here Driver, he's putting on an absolute clinic, almost 100 CS lead, and a pentakill in the first game of week 2.
Yeah, I think last split it took like till week 6 or week 5 to get our pentakill, and it was a really boring pentakill, but I don't even know what happened. There was a lot of diving around, and I don't know, I guess every barrel just landed and killed them.
Yeah, we'll have to see. So, Baron's already dead. Yeah, Cannon Barrage is dropped. Somehow Driver manages to get a couple of these kills, and after this point, everyone grouped on the pit with nowhere to go. Every barrel that gets dropped just eliminates them, and it even gets Prage over the wall with the Q. And it looks like J-Team realized that was going to be a penta for Driver midway through the fight, because they held that damage, to let him get it. I'm not sure I would have noticed, to be honest. It was such a chaotic fight, and the damage kind of tells the story, doesn't it?
Driver, look, I don't do maths in public, but I'm pretty sure that's roughly the same amount of damage the entire enemy team did.
I definitely don't do maths in public, if that's what you think, but it was a lot, that's for sure. Ooh.
Absolutely. Oh, they're going to go. They're looking here onto Bruce. It looks like he will be taken down. It does stay alive a bit longer thanks to that Milio, but here we see Driver. He's coming down. Will he land this barrel? It could be massive. It's only going to land onto Char, but the snipe will find 2 here from Minji as West Point limp back to their base with only 3 members standing.
Does seem that way, and now J-Team, I think they can just close it out here. They do have the Baron buff. There's not a lot of wave clear. They probably have to wait for the next wave, though. Actually, there is a couple shivs. I always forget that. Nice.
Oh
my God.
Imagine playing AD carry in 2023.
Yeah, before they get that lifesteal, it's so hard to deal with. And those 2 shivs, they managed to buy West Point a little bit of time. But time is really all they have.
Oh, this is the Driver of old. I love seeing Driver on a carry pick. Because Gragas looked great. His gangplank looks even better. Does miss a couple of barrels here and there, but, you know, can't fault him for some mistakes.
Certainly can't, and I'm a little sad that we never got to see the top lane gold difference. Because I feel like right now, it's pretty absurd. It must be 6 or 7k between them.
Yeah, can't, well, 1.5 items to 4?
Yeah.
That is insanity.
That is pretty ridiculous. Really close here to his 100 CS lead. And Relia, he's struggling to clear out these side lane creeps. Whereas Driver, I mean, he's just topping the board and just about everything right now.
Yeah, this is insane. Dooley trying to deal with Driver's wave down there, but it is going to be a super wave with the hull breaker buff.
Oh, there it is.
Oh my!
7k, 8k?
He's up 3k on the next person who's Minji, his own team's mid laner. That's 5, 1, and 6.
Yeah, and with an 8k lead over his direct opponent, that is pretty absurd.
And this is why you don't pick Akali blind.
You don't, especially not against Driver. You know,
especially not top. I feel like it's even harder top.
For sure.
Oh, well. This is exciting. See Driver starting to push down the bot lane as top lane does get pushed in by J-Team. The last remaining inhibitor. Importantly, there is no Baron buff, but with no towers left standing, it should be pretty simple.
Yeah, it looks like this third inhib will go down, and now it's really just J-Team. Can they put it on the finishing
they're
touches?
looking for Driver. They will miss, but now it's time for them to strike back. Cannon Barrage, half-house Prage already. The barrel will not land, but 665 does cop it, and he is extremely low now. A lot of ults were used, but Gangplank doesn't need his ult. He has his barrels. 3 up at the moment as Nully comes to try and challenge him, but minion wave coming in from mid. Barrel will be taken out. It's Lava, though, in the middle of the team. What damage can be found? Minji finds a double. Is he going to be able to find Relia as well? It looks like he won't. Relia manages to find one for himself, but it's Driver targeting the Nexus as Prage runs away to this fountain. The game should be over here, but J-Team trying to hunt down some more kills. Bruce instant dies on the fountain. Now, can these 280 carries do anything? It doesn't look like it. The game should be over. Driver will protect his KDA. What a game.
What a game. And Driver there at the end, I think he was 3 CS away from the Flame Horizon as well. So really couldn't have asked for too much more from him. I mean, yeah, wow.
Where's the Driver dance? Surely we get an epic Driver dance for this
What's
one.
a Gangplank dance look like?
Yeah.
He's not going to cue one of his teammates, is he?
Oh, he has done some Gnar ults on his teammates and Sion ults, so come on.
Come on.
I want to see, where's Driver? Oh, who knows, but what a fantastic performance. Gangplank, haven't seen him in months, and for this to be the game we see, I mean, we've got to give credit to Minji as well. Here we go. He's boxing. He's boxing.
Wait, that's not Gangplank.
That's not Gangplank at all. He's actually just, he's dodging into every punch that Lava's throwing at him.
Oh my.
What is going on? That's Set. I'm pretty sure that's Set ult. What is happening?
I don't know. But hey,
I love these guys, man. That's my goat.
Yeah, I mean, look, it'd be tough to come up with a Gangplank dance, I think.
Yeah,
so I'm
true.
not sure. Maybe that's just the classic top lane brawl, you know?
Yeah, could be. Could be just the first fight up and top.
Yeah.
Should have some wet noodles. That more accurately describes the top lane fights, but I guess not Akali versus Gangplank. But yeah, again, haven't seen Gangplank in months. For that to be the comeback game, found a huge lead. I mean, some of it was because his ult found the first blood bot, but even besides that, like 30 CS up, and Yeah, I don't know. Crazy well played by Driver as well as Minji. I think Minji had a lot of impact there. Wouldn't even be so surprised to see Minji actually top the damage because a lot of those Jace pokes were landing and were landing for high amounts.
Maybe, but I feel like Driver was just absolutely destroying the side of JT, or the other West Point. I keep thinking Impunity and Driver in my head. But anyway, I think bringing it back to the game itself, I felt like it was a massive draft gap, and then on top of that, J-Team played a lot better. I want to say again, I feel like Nuli has been playing the best on West Point. Like, he's kind of their shining light, but unfortunately, the rest of the map in that game, particularly top lane, just exploded way too early. And we've seen that from Rel here many times, is that he's not really comfortable on the tankier champions, those neutralizers like Gragas and stuff like that. So we'll tend towards those carry champs, and if he doesn't have the right setup for it, it can be very hard punish, right? Didn't have any jungle intervention, didn't have the bans to protect the Akali, and obviously had to blind pick, which I really think, I'm not sure that's Rel here's